Are there any additions to the agenda this morning?
Nothing from administration, Madam Chair.
Okay, anything from council? Is there a member of council that would like to approve the agenda for the January 21st, 2026 regular meeting of council? Deputy Finn, thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. Any corrections or amendments to the January 7th, 2026 regular meeting of council minutes? Is there a member of council that would like to move these and accept them? Councillor Wheeler? I'll call all in favor. That is carried. So this morning we have no proclamations, we have no public hearings, but we do have a delegation, the Youth Advisory Committee. They are going to be giving us community feedback and open discussion. So good morning again, welcome, and if you want to come down to the podium there, just make sure that the light is on and start with your presentation. Maybe before you start, do you want to introduce everyone that you have with you this morning?
Of course. So good morning, Mayor and Councillors. My name is Tawny Thompson. I'm the chair of the Drayton Valley Youth Advisory Committee. I got some moral support with me here today. So I have our newest member, Dax Jeffrey, my secretary, Macy Haskell, and then my vice chair, Rebecca Burrell. So they're my cheering squad today. I'm kind of the public speaker of the group, so I'm here just to give you guys kind of the rundown on what happened with our 2025 community discussion event. It was our very first event that we got to do as a group, so it was a really big milestone for us. Just because it's our first time here joining you guys with the new council, I just wanted to give you kind of a briefing on who we are. So we were originally 9 members, now we are down to 7 eager, passionate individuals that are 14 to 25 is our age range. So with every activity that we do, that's the target age range that we want to continue to hit with all of our projects. So we are an extension of you guys. We act in a kind of an advocacy capacity. So we're a bridge that connects town council to the youth of our community. And we do this through a bunch of different things. So mostly we operate with engagement, advocacy, and education. So we provide lots of different discussion forums, public surveys. We go into our schools and meet with our students one-on-one. We attend a lot of different community events, and we're kind of just trying to plaster ourselves as much as we can to always have that continual conversation moving. So that brought us all to our 2025 event. So we had a series of different surveys. In 2023, our surveys largely focused on what were the gaps in our community and where were we missing some points. Then we moved into our 2024 surveys. These focused on, okay, these are the gaps that we identified, but these are the services that we do have, because often it's not necessarily a lack of resources, but a lack of awareness around those resources. So we tried to bridge those two to make our 2025 survey, which then came over to a survey which we took the top 8 sources or issues that the community identified through these surveys and got them to list them 1 through 5 to try to identify where the largest gaps in services were. So our event was a way to do this one-on-one. So we had over 50 community members, which involved both youth, adults, service providers, town officials. There's some of you who even came to join us. And we participated in facilitated breakout sessions. So it went where we had a little bit of a panel discussion with Dr. Michael Unger. We moved into discussing different issues and we listed them, and everybody got to find the big idea behind each one. So what was the issue and how were we going to solve this as a group? The final top 5 issues identified were affordable housing, recreation, mental health, job opportunities, and healthcare. So the following identification of the big ideas were the topics amongst them. But first we go in and we do a little bit of demographic. I'm a little bit of a statistic nerd, so I had a lot of fun with this. So just to show you guys who actually participated with our community discussion, we had 20.6% of participants were 12 to 17, 11.8% were 18 to 25, 17.6% were 26 to 35, 26.5%, our largest age group, that's going to be our 36 to 45. That was largely our service providers. So our mental health workers, our town officials, we had a lot of different school officials also join us. Then we had 5.9% be 46 to 55, and 11.8% 56 to 65, and 5.9 being 65 plus. In addition to that, we also tracked who came from where. So actually, out of the exact town of Drayton Valley was 70.6%. Then BC being Brazeau County, those are our county kids, that's going to be 23.5%. And then 5.9 were from the Edmonton area. So Leduc, Edmonton itself, those little communities outside of that. Then coming into our event, we got the top 5 results, and they were as following. So number 1 being housing. Number 2 were jobs. 3 was mental health. 4 was healthcare, and 5 was recreation. There was actually a large gap between healthcare and recreation coming into this event. However, during the actual event, we got them to re-rank that, and then recreation became our top identified issue from that. Second was housing. Mental health was third. Jobs, and then healthcare was last. So it was really interesting to see the contract out of that. It really was a big change, actually, especially with that recreation going from last to first so quickly after this event. So now we're going to dive into a little bit of what the actual results were. So following the community discussions, we got everybody to have 10 stickers, and they were like $10 to put towards whatever their ideas were. And they got to use that as a little bit of a voting system. So with 91 votes, recreation was our top identified issue. The top 2 big ideas from that were a free rec center pass system and away from the snow in the winter, how can we rent out some space in the summer? So with this, our community members were kind of discussing that we need to have a little bit of a pass system for our younger people in the community. How can we get them to use our services for a lower cost or for free? It's a little bit harder for our younger members to be able to afford different things in that community, so this was where they targeted that. We also discussed utilizing empty commercial spaces, other big ideas like open court and sports spaces. One big thing that we often hear is an indoor basketball court in addition to this, as well as outdoor courts, drop-in spaces, a drag street space, trampoline park, free empty spaces that are monitored. How can we use them? What is the general cost? Are they big enough? Do they need monitoring? So we were able to identify a little bit of issues that came with each idea, but these were the thoughts that came about. From there, we went over to affordable housing, which actually tied for second with mental health at 49 votes. So affordable housing, our top 2 biggest ideas from that were to build your own house or build more houses for other people. So there were 2 very different results that came out of it, but it was trying to figure out those incentives and the social investments that we can engage community members to either go with building your own house or building more houses. So the thought behind that is kind of like a Habitat from Humanity kind of thing with the build houses for other people. So building more apartments, utilizing old spaces, how can we subdivide different spaces, adding incentives to acquire training and to return to the community to build homes. So that was more discussing the education. How can we offer different education in our community to provide those different jobs for the people that might come back to the community to build more spaces, like our carpenters and our engineers and so on and so forth. Also leasing more land or monitoring the use of land in the community to build more spaces, as well as backyard cabins or social investments. How can we get creative as a community to further this project? From there, we go over to mental health, which again was tied for second and third with affordable housing. So that is being mental health at 49 votes. The top 2 biggest ideas were to make local mental health positions full-time. There is reportedly a gap in that issue being a lot of part-time or casual or just not enough grant money in the community to keep certain positions continuing. Bringing youth in on community interagency meetings. So getting our youth to meet face-to-face with those service providers and those officials to be able to say, this is what we need in the community. Other big ideas that came in addition to that were the mental health conference for youth, more education around mental health, family opportunities, virtual mental health care offered for our community members, service providers supporting one another, so a little bit more on that interagency side of things, peer support training, animal therapeutic help, free community events, or just general posts on social media about mental health and things surrounding that. Then we came over to job opportunities at 42 votes. That was our smallest. So we have networking, monitoring, or mentoring. So there's a disconnect between our employers and our youth. So trying to identify different ways that we can get networking events or ways to connect them to be able to bring both of those people together, as well as the trade truck, which I believe is from Nate. How can we bring things like that or similar things into the community so we can create more job opportunities, which then kind of ties back over to the affordable housing side of things with those blue collar jobs to bring more people back to the community to build those houses. So it all kind of flows together. We also discussed how can we connect different businesses to each other and to get them to acknowledge our youth. We need to be aware of our school scheduling and temporary work. Is there some more entry-level jobs for our youth that we can get them involved in outside of their school schedule? Also making some more encouragement for our youth, how to connect them to the providers, and an emphasis on those blue-collar jobs, again, going back to the trade truck. Sports positions like umpiring or refereeing, how can we get them into positions that they're actually passionate about? A lot of our youth have a lot of digital skills, so how can we make a platform with those to connect them back to the organizations or the businesses that are seeking those kinds of positions that our young people can have? And starting your own business, kind of like odd jobs. I can mow your lawn for this much money. I can shovel your driveway for this much money. And just it goes back to different events to connect our youth. So finally, we had healthcare at 23 votes. So this was a large drop in numbers from our other categories. So it was interesting to see. Our healthcare came to be getting more doctors in the hospital and a better highlight on the benefits of moving to Drayton Valley to those service providers so that we can get them in their hospitals. And then, of course, we are aware that this isn't just an us issue, that this is an issue provincially, but these are what the community members discussed. So finding a reduced cost for medical school, we need an anesthesiologist in our local hospital, a one-stop shop for different healthcare facilities, need for minor operations in town. So people are having to travel out of the community to get different procedures done. That there is a lack of doctors or medical transportation to those doctors, maybe offering some free housing to those doctors. We have 3 nurse practitioners, more health options, and an internship program offered in the community. Now, we do have a few things kind of leading with this, especially with our rural nurses program. And this is, of course, a problem province-wide, but this is what was discussed at the event. And those are kind of our findings, and I'd love to open it up for any questions so we could delve a little bit deeper into things.
Well, thank you very much for that. What a great job. I love how you went back and resurveyed those same, categories, and you could see the changes in them, and then you came back with big ideas. So great job for all of you. I will open it up for questions. I can start. Okay, so now that you've done all this, you've composed all this, what are your plans for 2026? So you've come up with some big ideas, right? What will be, have you identified a project now for the year? Or what now will you take and do with this? Or are these just suggestions? Or tell me a little bit more about next steps.
Okay, that's a great question. So coming into 2026, we have a few changes going on with the committee, so things are looking really exciting, and I'm really actually excited to see what happens. So we are taking all of our findings and the presentation with you guys today, and that is going then into our 2026 to 2027 strategic plan. From there, we're going to be able to identify our big projects. One that we're going to be continuing that we have been doing since 2024 is our interview project. So that is engaging one of our members, Lily Waldo. She is our interview liaison. She connects with different service providers or community groups in our local area that service our youth. From there, we're going to be identifying which ones can fill the gaps that we were able to identify in the community event and through the survey. From there, we're also going to be going into our schools to further our research and continue to bring back our results towards you guys.
Oh, wonderful. And so you had the opportunity, you and the advisory committee, to spend the day, I'm assuming, with Dr. Unger?
Yes. Yeah, so that was really exciting. I'm just a new social worker, so it was really exciting to have the Wayne Gretzky of social work be Dr. Michael Unger join us. I had the opportunity to have a little bit of a pre-meeting with him, so I personally got to spend the most time with him since I was the MC for the event, so we went through all of our notes and stuff. He was a really great help. He was actually the person who interviewed me and all the other youth of our group in our panel discussion, which was a moment to connect further with the people who came to join us, go a little bit more in depth to our survey results, what we've been doing, and what we as the youth are hearing from our peers about different gaps in services or issues going on in the community.
So does anybody from the committee want to maybe highlight what was their funnest part of that day, or something maybe that inspired you that Dr. Unger had said? Or is there anything that stood out for you particularly that you would like to share with us? And it's okay if there's not.
I think our group is a little shy today. That's okay, though. I have to say, just in general, I was very, very proud of our group coming together. Again, I'm the public speaker of the group, and not everybody has the ability to just come up onto a microphone and talk in front of everybody. And I've said it a gazillion times now, but I'm very proud of my peers here. They came up and they got into an uncomfortable situation and not only public speak, but run their own breakout rooms individually. So they had to handle a group of complete strangers who were all shouting different ideas, and everybody was getting excited, and they had to try to funnel those ideas and organize everybody on their own. And I was very proud of everybody who came together.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think that you all did a fantastic job on the panel. You would have never known that you were shy or nervous or anything. You all did fantastic, so great job. Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. It's very exciting to see youth engaged in the community, but I'm wondering how you think the community responded to you guys. Were they supportive of the idea and wanted to help, or were there some people who were not sure at first, but then by the end, they were like, yeah, what was the energy feeling like with the whole kind of conference?
So that is actually very interesting to have got to see how the community actually responded to us, because again, it was our first time meeting the community at large. We've gone to different community events, but you kind of only meet everybody like in groups of 3 or so on and so forth. And this time we were discussing it in front of about 50 people at one time. So we had a lot of different questions come about. What do you think of this? What are the youth saying of this? And there was actually a lot of different excitement, especially from some of our service providers in town, about what our actual survey results yielded in specific. We didn't go necessarily into this person said this or this person said that until it came time for the panel discussion portion. And we had some really interesting questions. We were really surprised by some of the questions. A lot of them were a lot more in depth than what we were expecting, which was really nice to see that they felt like we as a group, as kids who are 14 to 25, to be able to handle those hard questions with such grace and poise.
And then so lastly, you talked about your 2026, 2027 strategic plan. There'll be a lot of events that'll be happening this year. So where can we expect to see you, and where will you and the committee be out this year? Or is that something you're going to wait for strategic planning? I know there's lots happening in the community, so where will we see you?
So some of the continual events that we like to attend would be things like the skate park jam. We try to hit all of the wellness fairs in those schools, just again because it is our age range that we're trying to hit, especially those interagency ones, like the ones that happen at Frank Maddock, I believe is where it's usually hosted. So we're trying to hit most of those spaces. The ones that particularly affect our youth, those fun summer events, we like to try to attend every parade we can. So we're often at the Christmas and at the Canada Day parade. Outside of that, with our specific events, we haven't necessarily laid out a schedule for the year yet, but it's something that we'll be getting into in February.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any other questions? Well, we certainly appreciate you coming today and sharing the results with us, and great job, everybody, and keep up the great work. We know we will see you out and about in the community, so we're encouraging other youth to join and get involved, and we wish you the best of luck. And if there's anything else you need for strategic planning or ideas, make sure to come back and let us know.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy. So that is our only delegation this morning. So that was just to be accepted for information. We can jump right into our decision items. First up is 8.1, which is our Community Standards Bylaw Text Amendment. This is Ms. Whaley this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So administration today is bringing forward for first reading Bylaw 2026-01P. Amendments to the Community Standards Bylaw and updating of language and efficiencies. This has been presented but not discussed at the previous Governance and Priorities meeting, which ran lengthy. So I'm not entirely sure if you want me to present all of the amendments and changes, or if you would like to discuss what you've read now twice.
Sure. So in our package today is the highlighted proposed amendments, right?
Yes.
Those are the only changes within the document?
The red line version, correct, ma'am.
Okay. And
There
then
is
this
some
morning-
also repealing of old bylaws that are no longer relevant and updating of terms and definitions based on legislation, so
Okay. And then, so today we're just looking for first reading as well?
just first reading, yes.
Okay, perfect. So when we're looking at the highlighted proposed amendments, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Whaley this morning? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thank you. I was just wondering about you're adding in the dumpster diving, that there could be a charge for that. Is that something that people, like the community is requesting? Are we having concerns with that?
Through the chair to Councillor Wheeler, there has been some concerns raised regarding unhoused individuals, and it came up organically through those conversations.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Councillor Brooks, did you have a question as well? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. We didn't get the bylaws that were going to be superseded. So I don't actually know what is inside of the cannabis-free public spaces bylaw, but I was wondering why we want to get rid of that.
Through the chair to Councillor Brooks, you're going to have to forgive me, and I will have to get back to you with an answer on that one. Unfortunately, the person who was supposed to present today is unavailable, so I don't have the answer to that question, but I will also have all of those bylaws sent out to council.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not, I'm not totally comfortable superseding these bylaws if I don't even know what the bylaw says. One of the things that were mentioned was that, enforcement on that bylaw, like there isn't a whole, it's not an issue, but I don't see that as a reason to get rid of a law. If people aren't being murdered, I don't want to get rid of the law against murdering people, right? It's great that people are following the law, right? But like I said, I don't know what's within it. So, yeah, I guess if we were going to give this first reading, then I guess I can support it today, and then I'd like to see that before we go any further. So that's all I had to say, I think.
So with that being said, if we were to give first reading today, then it can't come back to GNP for discussion. It has to now come for discussion for second reading at the regular council meeting?
Correct, ma'am. If council wishes to see this to go back to a GNP, I would recommend that you don't give first reading and just make a resolution to have this discussed at the next governance and priorities.
Okay, and the only reason I'm suggesting is because the review of the other bylaws, the three other bylaws, right? So that was the only thing. What would administration recommend for, I know that we don't have Mr. Rossing here this morning with us, and he'd be able to speak better to this. I'm not sure, Mr. Thompson, if you're able to speak to the bylaws a little bit? So the rescinding of the other bylaws, by rescinding them, they're no longer in, or their areas in, contained now in the document. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. Just from my understanding, the three bylaws that are being done away with, so to speak, the first one's the tobacco one, and that one is pretty much covered under provincial legislation, so it's just duplicating legislation that's already in place. So when our enforcement officers are enforcing that, they use the provincial legislation as opposed to the bylaw. So that one is not being used. The other one in terms of for the youth, that one it's been on the books for a long time and it's never been used. And there has been court challenges indicating that is against people's rights to have that type of legislation. So because we've never used it, both through the CPOs and the RCMP, and the fact that it has had court challenges, it has just been, we just decided that it's not used, it's not being enforced. So That was the reason for that one. And the last one, I believe, is also, which is the cannabis one, I believe. It was a little bit of, when it first came in, it came in just when the legalization of cannabis was implemented. And so there was a lot of things in the bylaw that were kind of a bit of an overreaction to what could happen. Now that it has been legalized for several years, a lot of the concerns of the day are not valid. So that's why it's being abolished. So.
Perfect. So when it comes to both cannabis and tobacco, I guess that would be, consumption or smoking in public places.
Correct.
If any of you were to issue any sort of fines, then again, like you had mentioned, you would use provincial legislation. We don't need anything additional as a municipality.
Correct.
Okay. And then for the curfew bylaw, I think that's going back quite a few years, because is that dating back to when we used to have a horn or a siren that used to go off and kids had to be in by
Correct.
a
That's
certain
correct.
time?
Yes.
I'm a little interested in maybe
Yes.
keeping that one, but. So with that little bit of extra information, I'm not sure if anyone has any other questions or concerns, Councillor Brooks, with that, or would you still like to see the full bylaw?
Thank you. Yeah, I'd probably like to see the whole thing, so if we want to bring it to a GMP. Or I think that's appropriate.
What are you thinking, Ms. Whaley?
I will also highlight the reason that this was pushed quickly through to the council, even though it was not able to be discussed at the GMP, is that this will handle enforcement timelines. And we have had several complaints both in the summer regarding vegetation control and certainly in the winter with people's sidewalks. So this was pushed to this meeting to be able to change the timelines on being able to enforce on clearing a sidewalk and billing it against the property, et cetera, or dealing with weeds and extra long grass in the summer. I will say that you can amend at second reading to remove repealing bylaws if you wish. So I would recommend the first reading today. So it would be for the first reading of bylaw 2026-01P, community standards bylaw. And we will email out later today to all of council the bylaws for suggested repealing, but we can also pull that portion off that we don't repeal when we pass this bylaw.
Perfect, thank you for that. And then when you spoke about the ability to appeal an order issued by, is that a new section? Is that a change to the section? And then can you maybe just elaborate now on the length of time with that?
So currently, when we give an order to, let's say, shovel your sidewalk in winter, it's 14 days for them to be able to appeal before we act, and that's only if they're local. If they are external to the province, it's another 7 days by provincial mandate. So we often have children walking through deep drifts of snow or sliding on bad ice because we have no ability to deal with it based on this timeline.
And how will this speed it up now? The timeline will be,
You'll shorten the timeline to, and forgive
sorry, I
me,
know. I'm just trying to find it.
sorry?
The 48 hours.
24 hours?
24
hours,
hours,
yeah.
thank you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
the number of pages in this one was a long one.
I know, right? Yeah.
I know, it's-
Sorry, what's that? Page 7 of the bylaw? Of the package? Does anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Thanks. I move that council approve for first reading the community standards bylaw 2026-01P.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
I think this is great. I'm excited to see it coming forward so that we can shorten the timelines. I know community members need time to be able to clear their sidewalks if they haven't been home or stuff like that, but ultimately it also means that if they're not doing it, we can't go in and do it and make the community safe either, which is the bigger piece for me. So I think it's important that the town's able to go in and clean up if we need to, if people can't get it done.
Thank you for your comments. Go ahead, Councillor Bowen.
I guess to piggyback on that, so is that kind of the point of this, is that if they're not cleaning their sidewalks, we'll go in and we'll charge them the time to do it? That's correct.
Yes, correct.
And with that being said, do we educate first? Do we door knock, or do we do? We
Yes.
door knock, and then if nothing, then we move to the second stage.
And that's not really changing from what our current practice is. We do try and reach out to the people as much as possible.
Yes.
Just some people are less compliant than others.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a reason. There could be, a senior that maybe is having difficulty moving, or it's an old vehicle, or some reason that, and then if that was the case, I know that we have snow angels or other, do we connect them then with, potential contractors or groups in the community?
Yeah, that's been done in the past.
Perfect. Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Well, and I think sometimes too, that we often think of the houses that are occupied, but there's a lot of vacant land that doesn't get taken care of and no one lives there. You can't knock on the door. It's a bigger problem than just someone not shoveling their sidewalk, so.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions? Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Yeah, and this has been a bit of an evolution, this bylaw, right? Because we were dealing with derelict homes and abandoned homes and those sorts of things. So this actually provided it some teeth. Now we're tightening it up even more, because originally we gave 2 years for derelict properties to get either demolished or fixed or what have you. Now it's 180 days, so we're cutting that in, well, a quarter, I guess. So I'm super fan of this bylaw. I think it just gives us the ability to make sure our community standards are upheld, and they're held to a high standard, so I like it.
Perfect. Any further comment, question, debate? There is a motion on the floor for first reading of, I just got to pull it up here, first reading of, I do not see it.
2026-01P, the Community Standards Bylaw.
2026-01P Community Standards Bylaw. I'll now call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much for that. Moving along the agenda is 8.2. This is the setting the final budget deliberation date. So this would be for a special council meeting. This is you, Ms. Whaley. I have Ms. Thompson here.
No, sorry, our corporate services director, our general managers had to step out. This is just a request to set a special council meeting to deliberate the final budget for March 19th, 2026 at 9 a.m. in council chambers.
Perfect, thank you. And I believe we've already received that tentative placeholder.
Placeholder, yes.
Okay, perfect. Is there a member of council that would like to make a motion? Deputy Finn?
I make a motion that council approve March 19th, 2026 at 9 a.m. for a special council meeting to deliberate the final operational budget.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Next up is 8.3, Council Procedure Bylaw 2026-01B. This is for second and third reading.
Hello again, council. So this has been discussed many, many times. We hope we have captured all of the proposed changes that were agreed upon. We did circulate this out after governance priorities and after first reading to council and received extra feedback. So we are really hoping that council gives second and third reading to the procedural bylaw today.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions for administration? Is there a member of council that would like to make a motion for a second reading this morning? Councillor Brooks, I think you had your hand up first.
You're gonna forget my name. I was like, oh, shoot. Counselor, which one are you again?
Who are you?
Yeah, so just on page 53, at the very top of the page, that's under motions, 16D.
So where are you at?
Well, I'd like to make an amendment, maybe. So top of page 53.
Okay,
I'd like to amend the, to read, votes for and against shall be recorded unless the vote is carried or fails unanimously. I think that this is important. I think that it increases transparency and accountability. And so with that, I guess I'll make a motion if that is allowed.
so
Yep.
your motion would be for second reading with an amendment to that?
Yeah, so I'd be moving to just amend the bylaw as it's read.
So, sorry, for clarification through the chair to Councilor Brooks, your motion is to amend section
16D.
16E.
16E?
D,
D, sorry,
yeah,
to include,
to read, votes for and against shall be recorded unless the vote is carried or fails unanimous.
okay?
Okay. That is your motion?
I guess I have to say I move, so I move to amend section 16D to read, votes for and against shall be recorded unless the vote is carried or fails unanimously.
Thank you very much for that. So Councilor Brooks has put a amending motion for second reading on the floor. Any comment, question, debate on the motion?
For clarification, Madam Chair, I don't believe second reading was moved at all. This is just to amend what's in front of us.
So you didn't say second reading? No, didn't say second. Oh, this would just amend, okay. Okay. So there is a motion to amend section 16D. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? My only comment would be that I appreciate your request to amend. However, I know that it would take a lot on our administration to be able to record every single vote. And I would encourage people that they have the opportunity to be watching our regular council meetings. They have the opportunity to go back and look at the minutes and also see our recordings and things like that. And then I believe once a vote is on the floor, then you always have an additional opportunity to comment, question, debate on that. So if you're stating that you're in or not in favor of a certain vote, that would be your time. So I'm not in favor of the amendment, but I can appreciate that, you know, that you would like to have your votes recorded as well. Any other comment, question, debate? Go ahead, Deputy Finn.
My only comment on that, so, you know, as the town, you know, we don't have divisions. So I think once the decision is made, as the councilors, as I said before, you know, we are backing our council on that decision, regardless if we were for it or not. So that's what all I would have to say.
Thank you for that. Councillor Bowen.
I guess, yeah, just a comment on it. I know the way that Councillor Brooks has worded it is anything that hasn't been carried unanimously then gets recorded as a vote, so only if there is disagreements. So far, in most of our meetings, we've had maybe 2 votes that have not been unanimous, so I'm not entirely sure that it would add a lot of work on administration, so I don't think that should be taken into too much consideration, as well as I don't think it's a big problem to be recording if people have disagreements on that, so, yeah.
Thank you for that. Any further question, comment, debate? Councillor Brooks?
Yeah, just real quick, you know, I understand that people can go back and look at our meetings, but our meetings can be 5 hours long. And I understand you can fast forward and you can jump to different places, but if you don't know exactly where a vote happens, you know, you're spending, if you wanted to see every meeting that we've had over the course of 4 years, like that's a huge amount of time that you're spending watching council meetings. And, you know, this is something people want to know, right? They want to be able to just look at, they want to see the vote, this is what it is, that's what they like, you know. I had several people on the campaign trail ask for this, so that's really why I have brought it up, and yeah, that's it.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Yeah, I would just say that, I mean, the latitude is there to have votes recorded as is right now. It just has to be at the request of one of the members. So I don't know, I'm sort of, doesn't matter to me either way. I just feel like as it's written, you know, the latitude is already provided. So if it's something that's controversial or what have you, it can be recorded, right? So there's nothing as it's written stopping us from doing that right now. If somebody wanted to say they wanted every vote recorded prior to every vote, so be it. But I think to be recording every vote on, you know, community, whatever, you know, it I don't know, just adds another layer, that's all. So I'm fine as is myself.
Thank you very much for your comments, Councillor Clark. And I think that I have heard from everyone on the floor already. There is a motion on the floor. If there's no further comment, this is your last comment, Councillor Brooks.
Sure, can I have this vote recorded? Or do I have to do that before The
You have to
motion's
do it
made,
before.
No, not before the vote, just before the vote.
just before the
Oh,
vote.
that's before the motion.
Okay. Can I have this vote recorded?
Okay. Okay, so Councillor Brooks, we'll make a note to have the vote recorded. Thank you very much for that. There is a motion on the floor to amend this bylaw for section 16D. I will now call the motion. All in favor? All opposed? That is defeated. And next up, we'll need a member of council to make a motion for second reading to the bylaw. Deputy Finn?
I move that council give second reading to bylaw 2026-01B.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Is there, or I guess there's a motion on the floor, sorry. I'll now call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion for a third reading? Councillor Bowen?
I move that council approve third reading of bylaw 2026-01B.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. And is there a final? I just have to go back. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion for third and final? Did you say final? Okay, no, I didn't hear him say final. Did we bring lunch? We're going to be here a while. Okay, so moving along the agenda, that wraps up 8.3 for Council Procedural Bylaw 2026-01B for second, third, and final reading. Next up is 8.5, Community Grants. This is the 2026 first quarter allocation, and this is Ms. Whaley this morning.
Hello, Council. So these are the first quarter grants for the Roger Cold Memorial, which is the Youth Sports Grant, the Community Events Grant, and the Arts and Culture and Heritage Grant, based on the quarterly cycle. So as the policies were amended at a previous council meeting, anything that requested 1,000 or less has been administered by administration. That includes the Pembina Regional Aerodrome Association airport event, which was approved, the Lucy Cropley Gold International Rugby, which was declined as it did not meet the current criteria of the policy, and Holy Trinity Academy Special Olympics Tournament was approved as it requested $900. Up for consideration today are all of the ones in your package. How does council wish to address them?
Thank you very much, Ms. Whaley. So this is the first of the year for our community grants. There is, I believe, 7, because we've already distributed 3 grants that are presented for you. I know at our last meeting, we had discussed grants coming forward over and under $1,000. So there has been some changes to that. As you can see in your package today, that some of the requests exceed that. So how is council wanting to proceed? I know last time we went through each one, or do we want to go back to the 1,000? It is the beginning of the year when you look at the total amount that's available and the projected events that may happen in the year. What are council's suggestions? Councilor Clark?
Just one thing that I won't be talking to would be the Roger Coles Memorial Grant DV Royals Volleyball Club. I'm the president of that club, so
Okay.
I will
So if
recuse
we're going to
myself.
do it all, then we would just want to exclude that one.
Is that how we do it?
Yeah.
Or I'm just excluded from the conversation or what have you, I don't know.
So the previous time we have, with this council, discussed the community grants, we did them one at a time until we sought clarification on what conflict of interest and pecuniary interest was defined as. As Councillor Clark has just acknowledged that he is the president of the organization, he is therefore on a signing authority and is in conflict for that particular one. The rest of the grants could be addressed as a whole, separating out just the volleyball request. The other thing to consider is what council received in closed session at the GNP meeting and whether you just want to stick with $1,000 for each particular activity this time round and use the bulk of the dollars in another direction.
Okay, so before moving forward, and Councillor Clark removing himself for conflict of interest, how do we want to proceed? Do we want to address all of them outside of the Roger Cole Memorial Grant? Yeah, okay. So Councillor Clark, would you like to make a motion to remove yourself for?
I don't need to make a motion, I just say,
No,
you just
just
say
declare it.
declare pecuniary interest, or what is it called?
Conflict of interest,
Conflict of
pecuniary interest?
So I'll step out.
Perfect. So with that, we have the Roger Cole Memorial Grant. This is for the Edmonton Gold International Rugby. It is a past event.
No, sorry, this is the Roger Cole Memorial DV Royals volleyball.
Oh, the volleyball, okay. So this is the DV Royals Volleyball Club, and this is for a past event. This was the U18, the U15, and U16 that happened in May of last year. The request is for $20,000. So based on the available information, there was a recommendation that came from the staff that council would consider giving up to $13,000 for this grant. So questions, comments? Go ahead, Deputy Finn.
So I just have and just maybe a clarification. So we have the community event grant, and then we have the Roger Coles Memorial Grant. That's all part of that total available for 2026? So they're not separate amounts for each grant?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to have them separate and then we just combined because
Okay.
what we felt, we weren't getting a lot of applications
Yeah.
for the Roger Coles and then the youth one as well. So
Okay.
it's all been combined. So there is a recommendation, there is a request. What is council thinking? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
$13,000 is a lot for me for any one organization in our community. I think that this is what we've received. We're only at January 21st. We have all year to go. For me, that's too much to be granting out in the first quarter. Especially because we've combined, if it was just the Roger Coles, because that one wasn't as well utilized, but because they're all together, yeah, no, I would recommend something closer to $5,000.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wheeler. So with that comment being said, there is 41,000, it says available in 2025. That's for the year of the 2026, correct?
Apologies, yes, that is a
Yeah,
miss.
so there's the 41,162.02. So dividing that into four, you're looking at just over $10,000 per quarter roughly, right? So the amount that's requested today is for, where is this at? Yeah, just for today. 26,000. Yeah, so it's 26,000, so that's over half of the funds for the year. So looking at this one, what is everyone thinking? Typically, I'm just trying to think. When is our highest statistically, maybe this would be a Ms. Thompson question, statistically, when is our highest grant request run throughout the year? Is it in January or is it at the end?
It's the
Is it
summer
the
one.
summer one?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so this might seem high, but there's still higher ones coming. So yeah, that is a good point. I mean, we did at our last council have the discussion around the $1,000, right? Too, doing that per, when you look at it that way. So that would be, if everyone wanted to go across, there's just for consideration would be $7,000. Because the other three have already, that would be the Pembina Regional Aerodrome, the Lucy Cropley, and the Holy Trinity, I believe.
The Lucy Cropley was declined as it did not meet the criteria. I'd also like to point out, as this was done internally by different administration, there is a recommendation to decline the Capital Futures Grant as it only affects a certain age group, but that would also then apply to the rugby and to the volleyball, because it's only a certain age groups.
And part of the criteria is, could you expand on that, Ms. Whaley?
It's total community involvement.
So involved, okay, rather than just a select age group or,
Yeah.
perfect. Councillor Wheeler?
I think for participation, you would be correct, but like the or the volleyball, I would see as people can spectate and go and watch and enjoy the event versus the Community Futures, the Mighty Moneymakers is a program they're running for kids that isn't open to the public. So I agree with the recommendation to not fund that one. But I think the other two would still be okay because they're open to the public, so, in my opinion anyway. But I can move that we approve $5,000 towards the volleyball club. If anyone needs to make a friendly amendment, I'm open.
Thank you very much for that. So Councillor Wheeler has made a motion for $5,000, the request to the Roger Coles Memorial Grant for the DB Royals Volleyball Club. Is there any comment, question, debate on that? Deputy Finn?
So that, my only comment would be that, you know, typically we have done 1,000 for the organizations. So if we're doing 5, is that going to be, now we're going to get influx from other organizations expecting more than 1,000? I think it's a great event, and I don't know, like, does the Roger Coles Memorial have a different terms than the general community event grant? You know what I mean?
Different
Like,
criteria and
Yeah, different
eligibility?
criteria. It would, because I'm assuming it's sports,
Yes.
right? So, yeah.
So are you requesting a friendly amendment to Councillor Wheeler? You can friendly
I mean,
amend
it's,
that number.
I mean, as you had mentioned, it is Q1,
Yeah.
right? So, I mean, we do have funds to give out, but I do think that there is, I know lots of the other organizations, and this is where I'm on the fence, is they won't fund out of town
Yeah.
events, right? So this was an expense that they had to pay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this might be, we're still fairly a new council. Would this be one of our first friendly amendments? I'm just trying to, not telling you what to do, but try to, if you have the opportunity. So Councillor Wheeler has put a $5,000. You now have the opportunity to say, would you accept a friendly amendment of this amount of dollars? And then if she accepts, we would vote on that.
What, can we see what the other counselors think?
Can we which, sorry?
Let's talk to the other counselors and see what they're.
Okay, sure. Any other
Position is-
comment, question, debate on the motion that's on the floor for $5,000? So my only comment would be similar to Deputy Finn's. I do think that, as much as I think that this is a great individual or great organization and great for our youth to be out participating in sports and things like that, it is the start of the year, it is January. $5,000 is a lot of money, considering we have several applications and events that are happening already this year. We still have a few more quarters coming forward and only a limited amount of funds. So I do think it is a bit high to. Councillor Boehm, comment, question, friendly amendment?
And you know, being my first year on council, probably hard to say, but when I'm looking at this currently last year, the carry forward from 2025 was 16,000, which means that we attributed and gave out $9,000 in the prior year. That's kind of showing to me that going forward, we may not have anybody applying, and if they've only given out 9,000 in a prior year, it's just, I don't see a problem with 5,000 currently, if all they gave out was 9,000 last year. So there's some thought there that this might actually still work, and we got to get rid of this money somehow, so I don't see a problem with getting rid of it.
So just to comment on that, Councillor Boehm, was in the 8 years that I've been here, that was the first time I've ever seen that happen. Normally, we do run out of funds, and I think it's because it was changed last year with 1,000. We kind of considered that, and I know that one of our councillors previously always struggled with giving out the money, so we tried to look at something where we ended up with some additional dollars. And we went through a period where there wasn't a lot of events too in the community and things like this, so we're seeing an increase more and more with that happening. Councillor Brooks, comment?
Yeah, we don't have to give out all the money. It's unfortunate that Colin and Pat aren't in the room. Just because we budget a certain amount doesn't mean we have to spend the whole thing. You know, and I do that at home, I should do that here, right? I'd actually, and this is it's on topic, but not necessarily to the motion. I would like to see these grants come for council review. You know, it's a new council, new day. I think that I would like to review criteria and budget amounts and that sort of thing. So that'll be after this motion, but yeah, generally, I think I'm supportive of the motion.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, I know for looking back, like this is for a 2025 event. And because we had the carryover from last year, I'm comfortable with the 5,000. I don't know of the $1,000 you're talking about. Like, we discussed these granting last quarter, and there was nothing specific for the admin side, anything under 1,000. I understand admin handling, but there was never a cap that I knew of previously that was expected in the community for $1,000 on anything. Council has the right to grant out all the funds to one organization if they want. It doesn't matter.
For clarification through the chair to Councillor Wheeler, I believe it was a unwritten recommendation of previous council that never managed to work its way into policy, and I think that's where the 1,000 came from.
Yeah, and it was in discussion too, because I believe that's what the county did. So every time this would come forward, we would say, what did the county give? Oh, well, let's follow suit. They give the 1,000, let's stick with the 1,000. So we were always verbally deciding on that here, but it wasn't, incorporated into it.
No, I think I'm comfortable making decisions. It's part of our job. I think there's different events that have, if we all of a sudden get an event like that draws a lot of people from out of town or a big deal, or like our curling event, I mean, we're going to be supporting that because it's in our facility. But ultimately, if they're requesting more funds, I'm comfortable having conversations about more than $1,000. So.
So with that being said, Councillor Wheeler, so $5,000 for this event. I do like your point on this was a carry forward of the 16,000. It would have been spent last year. However, when I look at some of the other requested amounts, what are you considering or thinking of for some of the other sports? Because if there's 5,000 here and we have 6 more with the request totaling over $20,000, what are you kind of thinking there? Yeah, Black Gold is 5,500, so I mean, that's,
I'd be moving.
Sorry, Council, for procedure's sake, Councillor Clark has only recused himself on this particular item, so the discussion involving the rest of them should include him.
yeah. I'm just asking Councillor Wheeler what
I'd
she's
still
kind
make
of.
amendments to all of them.
Oh, you would?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd go one at a time because we always end up, it's a little simpler, I think, to go one at a time just to, so people can have conversation around one topic.
Okay, so there is a motion on the floor for the Roger Coles DV Royals Volleyball Club for, to not give the requested amount, but to amend that to $5,000. Any further comment, question, debate on that? So I'll just make the final comment that this is very difficult. I will be voting in favor of this, even though I would like to see a lesser number. It's just because it is for sports in the group, and I'll see what plays out for the other numbers. It's early in the year, and hopefully we don't get a lot of these requests coming forward. Okay, so there is a motion on the floor. I'll now call the motion. All in favor? All opposed? That is carried.
Madam Chair, with the possibility of separating them all out individually, could we ask for a break now and then come back to doing them?
Absolutely, that's what I was going to do. I was just going to ask if that's the intent of going through these individually, then we'll call a 10-minute break, and then we will come back and discuss whether we're going to do that or not. Okay, we will reconvene our meeting back at 10:11 a.m. We are on 8.5, which is the Community Grants 2026 first quarter allocation. We already have allocated requested funds or amended requested funds for the Roger Coles Memorial DV Royals Volleyball Club. That was the Nationals. And I am guessing that the request is that we go through each of these individually and determine what that amount for each will look like. So the first one, we do have 3 already that were on individual organization that have been either approved or declined. We'll move along. So next up, I'm just trying to think of here, which next up is Holy Trinity, we've already done, right? So Pembina Holy. So next up would be the Northwest Stars 4-H Multi-Club. So this is an event that is going to be happening on May 25th, 2026. The request is for $2,500. So based on the available information, the recommendation coming from administration is to consider the grant for the $2,500. My only question with this is, for some reason, I'm thinking in the past that we've given an in-kind donation, that maybe they come closer to the date. How do we track this?
Madam Chair, to the best of my knowledge, we have not had a request for in-kind for this particular event as of yet. Should it come forward, we would bring that back to council. Currently, they are separate applications from the monetary requests.
Okay, perfect. And Councillor Brooks, if you recall, the county, was it an in-kind that they do typically on this one? They move in the dirt or move out the dirt, or do you remember what it is for this one that the county does?
Yeah, so the county will do, they'll do an in-kind, but I think they'll also do I think they'll apply for $1,000 as well.
On top of the in-kind?
I think that's right. Yeah, I wish I had their stuff right in front of me, but
No, that's okay, because I was just, for some reason, I couldn't remember if it's us moving in the dirt or if it's the county, but I know
Yeah.
last year this came up as a discussion. And
yeah, the county donates the time and for the operator and the equipment, but I don't know if they bring in their own dirt,
Okay,
so.
okay, perfect, thank you for that. Deputy Finn?
So from what I recall, it's the Pro Rodeo that brings in the dirt, and they keep
Was
it
it
in
the
for
Pro
the 4-H
Rodeo?
show.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the budget on here. So it does have $1,000 going towards facility rentals. So maybe that would be the Nelson Brothers Arena. It's $1,000 towards a team building project, $300 towards a lunch, and then $100 for coffee and donuts, and then $100 for advertising and promotion. So the budget does break it down where the $2,500 is going.
Okay, is there a member of council would like to make a motion? Councillor Wheeler?
Thank you. I move that council approve $1,300 for the multi-club 4-H bench show on May 25th, 2026.
So 1,300? You're just pulling these numbers out, eh?
No, that's supportive of the facility rental and lunch.
And lunch. Okay, thank you very much for your motion. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? My only comment would be is the 300 was for the lunch, that's where you?
It's from their budget, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if there's no further comment, question, debate, I'll call the motion. So this is for the Northwest Star 4-H Multi-Club Bench Show in May, and it is for $1,300. All in favor? That is carried. Next up, we have the Black Gold Brute Race. This is for July 4th, 2026. The requested amount is for $5,459. Staff would recommend that we consider granting this amount as well. Is there a member of council would like to make a motion? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
You know the number.
Thank you. I would move to approve $1,000 for the Black Gold Brute Race.
Thank you very much for that. So the request was for $5,459. You have made a motion for that amount being amended to $1,000. Okay, any comment, question, debate on the motion? My only question would be, I'm just trying to find in the criteria, does it say what they received last year? I'm just trying to find this one. Anybody see that? Because I'm feeling, yeah, I know. So I'm just wondering, typically, why did I think we have a column? Maybe it's for the year we have a column, but to see what we've previously. We used to. It'd be nice if we could track just for the events because, and then have our notes, because for some reason I'm thinking that, do you remember? We denied this one last year because it was an in-kind or something? Yeah, there was something, so we didn't approve it, right? So that's where I was just trying to determine.
We can include that going forward for you, Madam Chair and Council.
That'd be wonderful, thank you. Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, no further comment, question, debate, then I'll call the motion for the $1,000. All in favor? That is carried. Next up, there is the Drayton Valley Skating Club. This is for the Ice Carnival that's coming up on February 28th. The amount requested is $6,238. The amount recommended from administration is for the $1,950, and that's based on the available budget recommended on the allocation. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion for this amount or an amended amount? Deputy Finn?
So I'd make a motion that council approve $1,000 towards the Drayton Valley Skating Club for their annual ice carnival on February 28th. I know there is other organizations and community organizations that do, like when someone's hosting events, that can contribute to that. So I think those organizations can reach out and maybe secure additional funding.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Councillor Wheeler?
I would like to propose a friendly amendment to $1,500. And that's only because those are their ice fees. And if they're looking at paying that expense, then I think I'm okay, I'm very comfortable supporting that. It ultimately is like an in-kind,
Mine's not in
so.
order. I know, so it's taking me a minute. I know, it's not in order. Page 68 of the agenda package?
Just to clarify for council, the actual stated request is based on the cost of professional lighting, and that's the actual quote for the lighting is what they have asked for.
Okay, so the request is for the lighting, okay. Okay, so Councillor, or Deputy Finn has put a motion on the floor for $1,000, and then Councillor Wheeler has asked for a friendly amendment for $1,500, so you can accept or decline.
Yeah, I will accept the friendly amendment.
Okay, so you will accept a friendly amendment. Okay, so $1,500. So there was amended motion on the floor for $1,500. Any comment, question, debate on that? I do hear interesting. Okay, if there's no further comment, question, debate, then I will call the motion for $1,500 for the figure skating club. All in favor? That is carried. Okay, I just have to change that. 1,500. Next up is Community Futures Capital Region. This is the Money, or Mighty Money Makers. It's an event that's coming up on February 3rd to the 6th. The request is for $2,000. The recommendation coming from administration is to not fund this, this event as it's not open to the general public. It doesn't meet the eligibility criteria, and therefore they're requesting to decline. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? Deputy Finn?
I make a motion that we accept administration's recommendation.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion of accepting the recommendation coming from administration? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried.
Right?
The next one is just a whole jumble of words here. Oh, that was the Roger Coles. So that is, we've already done that one. So then next up would be the Drayton Valley Horse Club Cancer Ride. This is for May 23rd, 2026. The amount requested is for $5,000. The recommendation coming from administration is $1,844, and to be allocated for the event. And the reason for this number is, let me just find it on what page?
Page 81, ma'am.
Thank you.
For the renting of the Omniplex 2 for the bench show and Achievement Day for $1,000 fee.
This is for the cancer.
Yeah, this is the cancer one. This
Oh,
is,
sorry.
that's the 4-H one.
$111. We're at 112.
Okay, there it is. So, $5,000. I'm just trying to have a breakdown here. I think it's just a breakdown of the event. Talks about the barbecue, the meal ticket prices, and the total event cost is the request. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? That's what you want to say?
So asking,
Deputy Finn?
so they're asking for 5,000, but total event cost is 1,844?
Yeah, I don't, that's what I don't understand. So yeah, the amount requested is for 5,000, but the amount recommended from administration is 1,844.83. And then, yeah, when you look at the application, it does just say 1,000, so I'm not sure what the request was for, why it was $5,000. Just said sponsorship, maybe they're looking for someone to sponsor other costs in the event. Deputy Finn?
Wait, my only other question on this one, so it is on the Pembina River in Brazeau County. Do we know if the county contributes to them for their cancer and poker ride as well? Do we know?
Through the chair to Deputy Mayor Finn, we can put that request out and ask and come back to this later if you wish. I do know there's possibly some scheduled infrastructure work being done by the county in that area.
Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? Councillor Wheeler?
Thank you. I move to approve the grant amount of $1,000.
$1,000?
Yep.
So that would be an amendment to the recommendation, so $1,000. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Councillor Wheeler?
Thank you. Because this is a cancer ride, like they're doing it to focus on fundraising. A lot of the events in our community happen for fundraising, and I am supportive of that, but it's a very specific group because you have to have a horse to participate. And so, yeah. Yeah, right. I know they're looking for sponsorship for their lunch, and it's a weekend thing, so I'm not supportive of the $1,000 at this point.
Okay, so you made a motion for $1,000, and then you're not in favor of the $1,000?
Always make a positive motion, anyone can amend it, and that's fine, but I'm not supportive of the motion. You don't want to make a negative motion, I don't want to say decline thing.
But didn't you make that on Capital Region, $0? I'm just trying. Oh, we did? Oh, okay. I thought we said 0. Oh, there's all this positive motion now, it just throws me right off.
Such a positive group.
Such a
It's
positive
excellent.
group, right? Okay, so there is a motion on the floor for $1,000 for the Drayton Valley Horse Club from Councillor Wheeler. Any further comment, question, debate on the motion? Councillor Bowen?
Yeah, I think I'd like to make a friendly amendment to include the last two together. So both of the horse club, because it's very similar. They're asking for two different events. That's probably why they're asking for 5,000 is it's not just for one event. They're probably asking for all their events in the year. They're just probably not doing it correctly. So I would recommend, or I make a motion to approve 1,500 total to the Drayton Valley Horse Club for both events. Is that a friendly amendment? Friendly amendment
Depends if
to,
Councillor Wheeler accepts it.
Oh, yes, I will accept the friendly amendment.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Did you get that, Ms. Thompson? Okay, wonderful. So there has been a request from Councillor Bowen for a friendly amendment to include both events. That's the Drayton Valley Horse Club Cancer Ride and the Drayton Valley Horse Club Annual Poker Ride. Both of these events are scheduled for May 23rd, and the other is September 19th. The recommended, or the amount requested was $10,000. So the amendment, friendly amendment came in to have the $1,500 divided between both of these events then. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll call the motion. All in favor? All opposed? That is carried. Okay, I believe that wraps that up. Do we have a total for, is anyone keeping track? Of what that was? Okay, let's just quickly, I just want to go through and just to see what we're at. So, who's got their calculator out?
I do,
So,
ma'am.
Thank you. We did 1,300 for the 4-H Multi-Club, 1,000 for Black Gold Brute, 1,500 skating, 5,000 for volleyball, 1,500 for the horse club. Is that correct? So the ones that were accepted, have they already been included, though?
One is 1,000, one is 900, Counselor. Total amount of 12,200.
So 12,200 total approved. Okay, that wraps that up. Then I believe that, go ahead, Councillor Brooks.
Yeah, so just regarding our grants, I would be interested in having a review of them, the policies, that sort of thing. Have something a little more bespoke to this council. So if it is amicable to the rest of council, I would like to make a motion to maybe bring this to a GMP. Do we have time on our next GNP, or should I bring it to a different one?
Through the chair to Councillor Brooks, the February GMP will be fine.
Okay, February.
We have enough?
We'll make room.
Okay.
We'll make it work.
Well, and the only reason I'm saying that is we could push it to the following just because we won't have another granting cycle for, yeah, so we do have a bit of time. It's not urgent,
Yeah.
but I just know that we're getting a little bit busy come February, if that's okay?
March would be fine too.
Easy.
Yeah?
Okay, so March it is.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'll make a motion then. So I move to bring the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sports Grant, the Community Events Grant, and the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Grant to the March GNP meeting for review by council.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Perfect. Okay, last up for decision items this morning is 8.6, and that is the 2025 Q4 department reports. And this is, oh, Ms. Stone is coming up first, or I guess we're doing it that way.
As we go through with council's permission, of course, as we go through the different departments, if you have questions, administration will highlight some of their reports, but we don't particularly feel that you need it to be read to you. So we'll just do a brief highlight reel of one really cool thing or a couple really cool things, and then if you have any questions, this administration will be able to answer.
That would be wonderful. Good morning, Ms. Stone.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council. I'm just going to provide a very brief summary, and of course, if anybody has any questions about the details contained in the report, I'm happy to answer them. So it was a very, very busy quarter, and it included significant focus on public works updates, community programs, and of course, preparing for the 2025 election, as well as a swearing-in ceremony and subsequent council onboarding and training requirements thereafter. Throughout the quarter, my goal was to reinforce transparency by addressing misinformation, providing clear updates while navigating some periods of heightened criticism from the public. So if there's any questions on any of that, happy to answer.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions for Ms. Stone this morning? No? Well, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Keep up the
much.
great work. Thank you. Okay, next up.
Next up is the Health and Safety Department. So I will highlight the fact that we did very, very well on our core audit this year. It was an internal audit, and it did go very well, and we were very impressed with the knowledge that the administration has when it comes to health and safety. Going forward, we're focusing on ergonomics, updating policies and procedures as per the OH&S legislation, and actually going to be doing some interesting training with the staff coming up closer to the end of the month.
Thank you for that. Do we have any questions?
You are most welcome, Counselor.
Where are you?
We are going to be providing active shooter training to all administration, so.
Okay. We do have Mr. Thompson here this morning, so if you have any questions in regards to the department report? No? Okay. Sure, go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Mr. Thompson, so this year compared to, say, 2024, and, yeah,
Or 2025?
so 2025 versus 2024. Just curious as to, the previous year, there were issues with EMS and ambulances, and then, I guess, the unfortunate downloading onto, your folks. Now, did we see an improvement in 2025 in that respect, or I guess, how are things looking that way?
Honestly, no. We are still seeing significant wait times for EMS to arrive. Over the Christmas break, we had up to 30-minute waits for some incidents that we responded to. So that's putting our paid-on-call volunteer members in a very stressful situation for a long period of time, waiting for EMS to arrive. It's not the actual people. The paramedics and the EMTs are doing a phenomenal job. It's just the system. The system is broken and needs to be fixed.
Just to follow up on that, it's funny that you brought that up because I had a conversation or a meeting yesterday, and this was one of the topics that we actually talked about, was that what the problem is, I was speaking with a doctor and they were saying that the emergency, like the ambulances, there isn't a handoff. They have to stay with the patient. And so how do we deal with this? Like, how do we advocate for that? How do we change that? Do you have recommendations or, our ambulances are stuck in Edmonton rather than in our rural communities, right?
There are resolutions active both through AB Munis and through the rural municipalities of Alberta, lobbying all of the different 4 health ministers on getting this moved forward. So it's definitely a full provincial program that's been acknowledged by both municipal organizations.
Is this something that, I know we've sent in the past letters and something, is this something that we'd want to bring to attention again? Yeah?
Yeah, I guess my thought is just if you're forever, if you send a letter and just leave it, that doesn't really do a lot. I think if you're following up on it, yeah, it kind of keeps it top of mind. Other question, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Tom, what's the level of training our folks have? Are we like EMRs or?
So we, our basic standard of care is basic first aid. And we have that level because at any given time, we can't guarantee that we are going to have advanced paramedics and whatnot showing up to the incident because we're dealing with volunteer people. So that is our base. However, we do have EMRs and we do have medics that are on our department that do respond.
Okay. So we're not sending out people that are just hoping and praying that things work out.
No,
people that are trained to a certain.
Yes, yeah, everybody is trained.
Any other questions? No, is there an appetite to send a letter? I think so. Councillor Wheeler?
I'm supportive. I just might request that we wait a couple more weeks or a month or so. I think that a big part of this is going to come to light with the death that happened in the emergency room in Edmonton and stuff in the hospitals, because people are being unattended. The doctors and physicians and nurses literally can't get there fast enough to deal with the people that they're having there. So the ambulance is like coming with people. They're not allowed to leave them because they haven't been handed off. It's not an ambulance thing. It's a lot further up the chain thing. I'm supportive of being a squeaky wheel. I just think they've been in the spotlight a lot with it. And so I'm curious to wait and see if they have more recommendations coming out first, and that we can then tack our letter on to support those recommendations and push in areas that they're already leaning towards. I just don't know what they're leaning towards for a solution yet, so.
So there is quite a few, I guess, emergency and doctor and groups in the city that are collectively have come together and they're really advocating hard and they're really pushing. So maybe it is, reaching out to some of these groups too and strengthening it, right? Or getting more, so. Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
Who sits on RPAP? Is it- Oh, okay, okay. was
I
gonna say-
do sit on the Regional Provincial Health Authority, right? So we do have a meeting tomorrow, and I know that we're throwing things on the table, right? So this is something that,
Yeah. I would say just let's put on the next GMP agenda so
Yeah,
we don't forget
okay.
about it, and maybe you could give us an update after your committee and see. I agree. I think
Okay.
rural's a huge issue.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Next up, Community Recreation Services. Ms. Whaley?
Yes, so you have all of the reports. The Early Childhood Development Center doing some excellent fundraising and are utilizing the tuition assistance bursary towards training all of the staff to a much higher standard, which just means greater childcare provided by this municipality. In regards to FCSS and their reporting, we're coming up to their year end, so they're working on their reporting and on their annual reports, which is required by the province. You have the stats here for the Team Auction Center and for the CETC for events, the Mackenzie the Team Auction Center and the CETC for events, which were all very successful over the year. And in regards to community services, you have the background on visitors and number of people accessing facilities for the shelter pods, the emergency shelter, Warming Hearts, and our reasonably successful first pop-up navigation center, which was held on December the 16th, brought a number of provincial groups together, as well as our local providers, and was accessed by a number of those unhoused in our community, successful in getting many of them proper identification and haircuts, and they were offered the opportunity to look at different job to apply for. So if anyone has any questions on this, I'll be happy to answer.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Finn.
Just further in the report, it just talks about the shelter pod stats. It's a pretty big decline from September. Is that typical for the winter months? You think there'd be more usage with it being colder? I'm not sure.
This is a fluctuating stat based on ability to get to the shelter pods in some cases. So
Okay.
in the case of December, there was excessive amounts of snow.
Yeah.
These people generally are not commuting
Just not where to
vehicles, so
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And so I'm seeing like all the events that were held and things like that. We do have some events that are happening in the community this year. I believe a curling event as well as something happening at the pool. Do you have any further information? Just wanting to make sure that they go out to council so we're aware of what's kind of happening and.
yes, all events scheduled coming up that are major will be put into council's calendar.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Brooks.
Thank you. Under the community outreach program, it does say that they are being helped get IDs and that sort of thing. Are they also working on other things as well? If they don't have bank accounts, getting bank accounts and.
Yeah, this is the assistance.
Resume building and that sort of thing, or?
Resume building would generally happen through community learning. In the case of acquiring identification and the ability to access funding, it is helped with through that.
Okay.
Perfect. Councillor Bowen?
I do have a little bit in regards to the shelter pod update, just with the talks with Kelly. So yeah, in the wintertime, they are better prepared staying out by the dump. Their houses with the fires and all that stuff that they can do in them stay warmer than their shelter pods would be. And if they do go to the shelter pod and then they have to leave during the day, now all of a sudden they gotta get a fire going again, so it's actually easier for them to just stay out there. They get firewood delivered on a regular basis, and so it's easier for them to stay warm.
And to also just keep in mind that it's not just the homeless population that are accessing the shelter pods, it's a large percentage of other individuals in the community that are using these pods. Any other questions for administration? Okay, next up is infrastructure, fourth quarter department report. Ms. Terry, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council. I'm just going to read over in each department. I've put a conclusion, so I'm just going to read the conclusions, which kind of highlights everything that's happened. For utilities, overall, the utilities team has remained steady this quarter, focusing on maintaining reliable services, meeting regulatory requirements, and supporting staff training and development. Preventative maintenance on the wastewater collection system kept sewer backups issues to a minimum. Repairs and replacement in the distribution system have strengthened confidence in our customer service focus. Administration continues to work towards updating the emergency management plan to support future infrastructure needs and ensure the town's utilities continue to operate safely, efficiently, and sustainably. Public Works has had an impressive Q4, showcasing their teamwork and talent in snow removal operations among the best in the province. Despite ongoing staff vacancies, the team coordinated efforts seamlessly, completing 2 full town snow removal events while maintaining roadway safety. Recruitment progresses, equipment issues were actively managed, and on-call efficiencies improved. Staff also completed mobile elevated platform and fall arrest training, enhancing safety and operational readiness for moving into Q1. Parks, Q4 presented significant operational challenges for Parks Department, primarily due to staffing shortages, periodic staff absences, and exceptional snow accumulation. Despite these pressures, staff maintained service levels across trails, facilities, and proactively trail widening and boulevard clearing. Operational adjustments to on-call staffing, improved responsiveness, and overall snow removal efficiencies. Tree maintenance efforts advanced risk mitigation and right-of-way clearance objectives as conditions allowed. The new park sanding unit performed well and contributed positively to winter operations. Equipment reliability, particularly with aging snow sweeper units, remained a challenge throughout the quarter. However, the repairs and replacement planning are underway. Overall, Q4 highlighted the dedicated adaptability and resilience of the park staff in delivering essential services and under demanding conditions. Landfill and engineering, Q4. The quarter saw steady progress across regulatory infrastructure and development support initiatives. Key environmental and compliance priorities advanced with awarding of the post-closure plan, continued environmental monitoring and reporting, and ongoing work towards landfill liability documents. Numerous utility coordinations and right-of-way approvals were successfully processed, supporting commercial development, telecommunication upgrades, and electrical servicing across the community. Engineering and technical support to the planning department continue to ensure alignment on grading and residential design matters. Major capital projects progressed as planned, including the 43rd Ave design, reaching 90% completion, and the successful desludging of Murrah Pond. While additional investigation is required to address data gaps related to flood mitigation design at Murrah Pond, the project remains active and next steps identified. Overall, the quarter reflected effective coordination, regulatory oversight, and continued advancements of infrastructure and environmental priorities. Oh, go ahead.
Councillor Wheeler?
For the 43rd Street, it says that the project will kind of come in Q1 for us.
Yes.
Do you have an estimated ETA?
We're thinking probably March, maybe end of February. I'll talk to Jocelyn and we'll try to coordinate it with you guys' regular council schedules.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Asset management Q4 report. This quarter, the department delivered on-budget traffic signal upgrades, strengthened asset reporting to support council's budget decisions, and improved tracking and maintenance planning for the water treatment plant equipment. These actions enhanced public safety, accountability, and long-term infrastructure management. And I'll open it up for questions.
Perfect, thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Terry? Go ahead, Deputy Finn.
So just the sleeper units have been down throughout Q4. That's just parts we're waiting on?
Correct, they're coming out of the States, so it's taking a little bit longer. One we have got back up and running now, so that's positive, but yes, we're still waiting for parts on the other.
Councillor Brooks?
Thank you. Yeah, so I was wondering about, we were talking about number 10, the Murrah Pond upgrades and desludging. We're using some kind of an enzyme. I don't remember exactly what It was, but maybe I was never told. Does that just slow the process down of sludge buildup, or does that we won't have to do it in the future?
So we've seen some positives with it. It didn't address the excessive accumulation we had prior to starting the enzyme treatment. However, we were able to maintain. So it was helping, not increasing that sludge amount.
So we've gone from maybe having to do this every 10 years to maybe 100 years, or I don't know.
I can't confirm that data fully, but it all depends on also developments in the area and work being performed that can contribute to excessive mud, sands, rocks, everything that kind of gets into the system. But we're going to keep doing it and see how it does with Murrah Pond to see if we eliminate our problems there.
Okay,
Lessen the amount.
I guess you'll report back to us in 100 years and tell us.
I'll report back to you when I have accurate data. Yeah.
I was wondering one other thing about that. I was wondering what the cost is of applying it. Because I happen to know who does it, and I was wondering if that's a totally efficient method.
Of course, you know who does it.
Sorry, that's an inside joke. None of you would get it. Sorry.
The application was already happening when I first took this position, so I'm not really sure, but we have been looking at other methods that might be more effective.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Do I tell them? I don't know. They could try electric to do it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird, right? So they're out there doing the ponds anyway. They got to do the pumps and that sort of thing. I get it. It's just, I don't know what they charge to throw these packets in the water. It doesn't take, my brother was doing it as an apprentice, right? It doesn't take a genius, right? Not that my brother's not a genius. He's actually really smart. He's kind of a puzzle master, but.
You probably just want to stop right now. Let's just shut your mic off.
I did notice that there's a cost to us to have Tri-Electric to do it. So I have been talking with our team about our own application methods instead of utilizing them for that application. So we do have a boat, and we can utilize that boat to make that happen in-house.
Yeah, so it might be more, they're just throwing a packet in the water. It might be more economical to do that than, have somebody running around to the ponds all day, but.
Yeah, and
I don't know the answer. Right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And we've been looking at potential LJ controls as well, so we kind of just couple that process together and do it in-house eventually here.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Councillor Wheeler?
Yeah, I just have a question about the asset management. It says that the water treatment stuff has been now into the program.
Correct. So all the equipment, everything within the water treatment plant, which is significant, has now been added to the system. So as our staff work on equipment, they are now tracking that work towards each individual piece of equipment.
That's great. I know there was initial talks when the water treatment plant first opened of the cost to replacing, is it a track or the filter?
The filters. So yes, the cost is substantial. However, we did enter into a membrane replacement agreement with
Yes.
Suez,
Yes.
which amortizes the fiber life over 10 years.
Yes.
We're looking at other efficiencies as well to extend the life. One of the biggest issues we found when we first opened the water treatment plant was we're running them at the same hours. So one train runs in production, then it goes into standby, the next train runs. So we didn't stagger that, so they're both kind of getting the same wear and tear at the same time. So our idea was to try to amortize some of the fibers from one into the other, extend the life of that one, and only replace one train at a time. But with the MRA, the reason we opted to do it was it locked the price in from inflation. So we now pay 1.7 million opposed to 3.4 million for these fibers, and we're saving over time. So you guys don't have to worry when we do have to replace them. I don't have to come and ask for 1.7 million. It's being put aside at this time.
Okay, that's just wanted to confirm. I knew they were over $1 million a piece and that we're at about 10 years, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? No, okay, well, perfect, thank you very much, and great job to the team for the snow removal, especially over the holidays. Fantastic job. I know, excuse me, we were out and about in other communities and in residential areas in the city and stuff, and I mean, I can't imagine if you had a car, how you would have got around. And yeah, so with the amount of snow that we got, it was really appreciated. And they, did, like you had mentioned, did the clearing a couple times. So really appreciate all those hours that they put in. So
Yeah, they definitely did show dedication to this community.
yeah, over the holidays.
Working through
It's
the
awesome.
holidays, so
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
for that.
proud of them.
Awesome, thank you so much. Okay, so next up is corporate services, I believe. Ms. Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we have kind of the same types of tasks on the list. I have it on my phone, so I'm not reading text or anything like that. We are currently in the process of getting ready, in the beginning stages of getting ready for our year end. So lots of calculating accruals and deferrals and projects and all that kind of stuff. So we're just starting that. And then also we are almost exactly a month away from our go live date with our new ERP. And so that's requiring a lot of meetings, a lot of updates, and a lot of trainings, and also a lot of testing. So we're spending a lot of time on that, but I'm really hopeful. The new software is looking to be much more modern, lots more user-friendly, quicker searching and all that kind of stuff, which is going to save tons of time from finance. We have a question.
Councillor Wheeler already?
It's in relation to the program. Is it also linked to utilities? So will our utility system, in terms of like billing and cycles and everything like that, be getting updated, or for people logging in to look at their accounts and stuff?
Yeah, so the cycles and stuff like that is not changing, like how we process utilities on the ground, I guess. But the client-facing portal is changing, yes. And so one of the things we're hoping to do, probably not immediately, I'll talk to Connor to see if he's had these conversations with them yet on the citizens portal, is I would really like to get to where we can pay through it as well, because right now you can just look and see, and so that's the hope, the long-term hope. But yeah, what it's gonna look like will change, we'll update along with the system. So it'll look a lot more user-friendly and yeah. For utilities, the goal, the hope long term would be to have some sort of way of reading meters in a more efficient way. The problem is obviously the cost, and so that's nothing surrounding that. The way we read meters or bill them is changing, but what it looks like when clients or customers look on their account should change. So we're actually, I believe this week, we saw it for the first time where they opened it up for us, so it's really cool. Other than that, we're also in the process of making any changes we have for the budget, so we're gonna go into final budget. We're waiting on assessment still, which is why we pushed the date to closer to the end of the first quarter, because that gives us a few weeks once we do have assessment information to have more accurate information for council, and in terms of what that impact might look like for the residents of Drayton Valley. And on the,
Councillor Wheeler.
oh, another question,
Can we just
perfect.
wait at the end?
No.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
With the taxation, I was talking to my friend who lives in the city of Edmonton, and they actually get their assessments completely separate from their tax bills. They're sent out, it tells them what the value of their house was last year. He's like, it's a big deal and it's super exciting. He wants the value of his property to go up because his long-term investment. And I was like, that's a really unique way of looking at it. For us, people just see it as, oh, it makes my taxes go up. But I know, but no, for sale and long-term reset, he wants to see it. No, I just thought it was unique that they provide that to people, and I was wondering if you've heard of that before. Is it
Absolutely.
more common?
It is not common. I shouldn't say it's not common. It is more common with bigger cities, for sure. They have a whole assessment department,
Yeah.
right? We've thought about it before, but just with the municipality of our size and the department size, it's not super reasonable. And yeah, so we've talked about it before because there's pros and cons. So on one side, it's great for people to get a heads up then when the taxes actually come, it's not a surprise, it's just a rate that will change, right? And so it's not all that information at once, but on the other hand is then they start fighting sooner, or like we get, so it drags on the time that we're dealing with complaints, essentially. However, I have thought about it before. Mostly the biggest reason we don't do it is just the
amount of work.
just doing it and the size of our department and the effort that it would take. But yeah, bigger municipalities, like all cities, I'm sure all cities do it. I don't know 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that most cities do it. So they get that information, I believe, late March, maybe early April, maybe sometime in April, and then the taxes come in May. So they have that. The other benefit to that would be getting some of the assessment complaints or like issues out earlier. That would be a benefit too, but yeah, absolutely, there's lots of municipalities that do
Those
it.
should be handled through the assessor, like those are
Yeah,
assessment.
no,
We don't
absolutely.
assess them. It has nothing to do with us.
Correct, but once the budget is passed, then it is an impact to our budget that year, the cash flow, if there's changes. So if that changes happen
Exactly.
prior,
Ahead of time.
that would be the benefit.
Yes. Maybe the new software will have some kind of ability to do that in the future.
It's not about the software. It's not about the software. It's the assessor and us working together. So, I mean, it's definitely something we can look at. It's not a bad idea at all, but we've definitely heard of it and I've considered it in the past, but it's never felt like the right time in terms of our capacity.
Next year.
So for IT, we're now maybe a week or less away from the multi-factor authentication, which is a requirement for insurance. I know it's going to be hard for people using it, but we have to do it. We have to do it. And we want to, like, from the corporate services side, obviously it's something we want to do because it improves security. But in general, it's not a light decision that we made. We know that it's hard for people to get used to having to type a code in and prove it's them. But believe it or not, we've had risks before. Sorry? Yeah, anyone using a computer would have to, yeah.
Are we going to get training?
Yeah, it will be,
We already do it for your bank, but yeah.
yeah, it'll just be about,
It's just going to text us a code?
yeah, either text you a code or email you a code, or ideally you'll have
Sign up though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we need to. go
Oh, for
through all
sure, yeah.
that.
It's just our ability to start will be in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get to the training and all that kind of stuff
I just want to be
after.
locked out when I'm sitting at home.
Yeah,
All of a
no,
sudden it's like,
absolutely.
What's your extra code? And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. For sure, for sure. And we have talked about making it just if you're not on the network here as well, so all those details will be worked out, but we're getting closer. And then, of course, just IT support is always a huge thing, but the biggest being always looking to increase security, and then also, right now, we're continuing the migration from Lenovo, from Dell to Lenovo for price, and then we got a surprise that Lenovo's also going up, and it has something to do with the price by 30%, so that's a fun thing to to realize. But the reason for that is the producer of, you know what, I don't want to say the wrong thing, I don't know if Berkeley knows, but it has to do with who manufactures one piece of a computer and their demand, and so nothing in our control, but that's the reason why do you know the answer?
Everything is going towards AI, so the general manufacturer of the memory for computers is only producing for big corporations now, and not the little guys like us.
Yeah, so it's just affecting price, because it's the availability of these computers. That's fun, but what do you do?
Right?
The reason why we were going from Dell to Lenovo was because Dell's prices kept going up, and now it's a computer thing and not so much one specific type of computer. But we're going to deal with it and keep seeing what the best thing is. And we don't want to piece together and have like Lenovo and Dell and HP and all that kind of stuff, because it's just so hard to manage from an IT perspective. And so now you have to manage warranties through all these different things. So having everyone have the same type of computer is more efficient, a lot more efficient on the IT side internally. So we don't want to have to get to the point where we're just like buying the cheapest things across, that's ends up not being the cheapest anyways. That's That's the highlights of what corporate services is dealing with. Of course, the big three things, budget, audit, and ERP.
Perfect, thank you very much. Any questions? Counselor Wheeler?
When are we appointing auditors? Or did you guys do that
It
last
usually
year?
is, so the appointment would be sometime around the spring for the next year.
Okay.
We do have, our term with them isn't up yet, and that will happen next year as well, going into next year. So we'll probably do it around the same time.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you very much for your report. Next up is Fire Services, I believe. Mr. Thompson. Good morning again.
Good morning. I've pretty much talked about fire service and the last discussion regarding EMS. Just to point out a few things for council. The department responded to 120 calls this year for service. So our call volume continually stays above the 500 mark, which is a significant amount considering we are a paid on call volunteer department. So it does put strain on our membership to maintain that level, but just wanted to highlight that with council. A lot of our projects that we have been working on are very near completion. Our first due program is up and running. The AFRAX radios, in fact, the installer is in our hall today, putting the actual base stations in all of our trucks. So that project will be completed very shortly. As well, our pumper truck that we ordered way back in 2024 we're expected it to arrive at the end of January, so that is good news. Our aerial truck is still a long ways off. We're looking at 2027 for that piece of equipment. We also had a very successful fire prevention month, as I've highlighted in the report, especially with the chimney sweep program where 42 homes were visited. We also had a bit of an issue with the teacher strike. We couldn't do all of the programs and activities that we normally do. However, we did the best we could, and we hit some of the schools as well as the new resiliency school. I guess that's what the terminology is for that. As well, we also had a very successful open house campaign through all three open houses. We had roughly 1,000 people attend, so it was huge. 700 alone for the event in Station 3 in Drayton Valley. So it was crazy. It really was crazy. Weather and everything was in our favor, so that helps. But it's nice to see that the community supports the fire service. We also did a very successful pizza delivery program. We went to approximately 70 houses in both Drayton Valley area as well as Breton. And that was to deliver pizza and check smoke alarms. So another very successful program. We've also been working a lot with the Drayton Valley Thunder. We did a Thunder hockey night where we do fire prevention there and get to meet the public and talk about fire safety. And the announcers are gracious enough to announce fire safety messages on the PA while the game is going on, so that's very appreciated. We also do a fitness night with the Thunder for them to come and learn the different skills of being a firefighter, and it's a good team bonding for them, but it's also great for them to spend time with us and maybe potentially recruit some people down the road, which is always a goal when we're doing any of these activities. And that's pretty much my report. Council has any questions?
Perfect, thank you very much for that. Any questions, Councillor Wheeler?
I'm actually curious about a bit with the numbers on the overdose side. Just more
Yes.
the statistics, like are you finding that it's, I'm just back on, so I don't know if that's high or low, or if that's kind of normal in a quarter, or is it a concentrated area you're finding that, or?
That's normal.
Okay.
That's a normal amount. It tends to go in waves depending on the illegal drugs that are coming into the community. If it's a bad batch, we tend to get more
Yeah.
overdoses and more problems, but that's a general amount. Unfortunately, a lot of people relate that to the unhoused population, which is not really the case. We respond to all places in the community. So it's a problem throughout the whole community.
And are you finding that you guys are making it first on those calls a bunch, or it's not so much?
It varies. Sometimes we're there first. A lot of times we're there right at the same time or shortly after EMS response, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Maybe. Don't want to say. But, yeah, I mean, as I said, if they're in town, they're there right away. But if they're not, then it's a problem, so.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your report. And I believe that, planning and development, we have still, Ms.
So,
Whaley.
To date, we've had 36 development permit applications. Of those, 3 are active and pending decision, 2 are on hold, and 1 has been canceled. 52 building permit applications have been received. The e-permitting is going slowly but surely. We're going to be moving the availability to do a development permit, and your business license will be an online application. So we're building that out right now. As council had paused the rural renewal stream due to our capacity issues, we bring an update that we received 2 applications since the pause. And all communication has gone out to everybody in the lineup, as well as the 2 that applied after. And we've updated the webpage, et cetera. From the 86 that were in the queue, we have approximately 20 remaining we're working on at the moment, so.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Whaley? Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
With respect to the RRS, pause the program, that was for new applications, correct? If there was
Yes.
somebody that was kind of reapplying that's already been here for a year, 2 years, whatever it's been, they're permitted to reapply, is that correct?
They will be if you unpause the program, but if they're currently in the system and they've applied and they've been accepted and it's just the formality, that's not so much the municipality side, that's much more the provincial side, so.
Okay, because I had someone ask me, so they've been approved through the RRS program, but now they're looking to renew, and they said they need a letter from the municipality for endorsement. So I don't know, I just didn't know how the program worked. I said, yeah, maybe try and get you in touch with somebody, so.
If you could pass me that information after the meeting, we can definitely work with that person for the renewal then.
Sure.
Councillor Brooks, did you have a question?
Not so much a question, but I think that council should probably also review the land use bylaw. I don't want to do it in March when we do
That
the,
looks like,
needs to review all the bylaws.
yeah, I agree, so maybe like
We will be,
April or May.
we will be bringing, it won't be until the summer, but administration has compiled a list of many, many issues with the land use bylaw and the MDP, so we will be bringing those back, but capacity-wise, it will be the summer.
Right, okay, very good.
and typically when you would bring the land use bylaw too, that would be months and months and months, and we would have a lot of council and community and stakeholder engagement too, so with that.
Right, yes, so I'm glad that you guys are on top of it.
That's a big project.
That is a big project.
Any other questions on any of the reports this morning? Okay, is a member of council would like to accept the reports, receive them as information? Councillor Wheeler? Thank you very much for that. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Next up on the agenda is council reports. Councillor Boehm, you are up first. You didn't think I was going to call you, did you?
Very much hoping not to go first. No, just kidding. That's the problem with having B as a last name. It's awful, always called first. Yeah, so since our last council meeting, there's been a couple of weeks, I guess. There's a couple of things going on. So on the 8th of January, we did our Community Safety Committee meeting in which we had basically kind of set out what our goals are for the next year. We kind of did a bit of brainstorming and just put everything that we thought out onto a whiteboard. And we will be discussing that next month to just figure out exactly how we're going to tackle those things that we discussed. We also did our first joint council meeting with Brazeau County, just to discuss different things that are going on and different ideas of what we have going forward. We had our emergency training on January 12th, which was fantastic, just to understand that we need to be available for emergencies. Hopefully, we do not have any for the next 4 years, but I know that's probably crossing my fingers a little too hard. We also did a GNP last week, which is great. I know we had a lot of discussion around some bylaws and stuff like that, so that was good. On the 15th, I had a library council meeting as well, and that was good for us. We kind of went through a lot of terms and reference, assigning people to specific committees within the library and so forth, and talking about different things that they're looking forward to the future. So far, that's it.
Thank you very much for your report. Next up is Councillor Brooks.
Thank you. Yes, the only board report that I have is from the Recreation Board. We had January 15th. It was a pretty short meeting. Actually, it was less than 40 minutes, but yeah, we talked about, things like the cogen generator, like there's the potential for adding something like that onto some of our recreation facilities. It'll help us deal with the cost of electricity, and it might even bring down the general operating cost in the sense that we can sell some of that power. So we talked about that. We had to change our meeting schedule a little bit to accommodate one of our members. Other than that, there were some events in the community. January 24th, we have the Loppet, which is a cross-country ski race at 10 a.m. on January 24th. Thunder Legends Night, February 20th at 5 p.m. Mental Health Symposium at the Max on February 21st. And the Eleanor Pickup Arts Center, that's our next meeting. We're hoping to be at the Eleanor Pickup Arts Center, February 25th at 1 o'clock. That's it.
Thank you very much for that. Councillor Clark?
Ditto to all of that stuff. Joint rec board, joint meeting, ER training. Thanks, fellas. One thing I do want to add, this isn't necessarily council related, but food bank. Just wanted to highlight something from 2025. There were 1,100 individuals that had to access that facility last year. So, I mean, significant. And the budget is roughly $650,000, $700,000 for that to run the food bank for a year. And they heavily rely on grants and that. So, and volunteers, of course. So if you need a place to volunteer, don't be afraid to go to the food bank. They can always use more hands. But certainly that's alarming, let's say, 1,100. That's a lot of people that are going without food, so. Yeah. Unique. Yeah, and I think roughly 65% of those are from the town, 35 counties, so, yeah, significant.
Thank you for your report. Councillor Jeffrey is away. Councillor Wheeler?
Thank you. Yeah, we had a few meeting with the MP, which went well. It was nice to chat and see what's going on federally and how we can connect and support each other. We were talking about some of our RCMP funding issues with them. So we had the emergency management training, and then I had a youth advisory committee. And so they were preparing for their report that they did this morning, but the committee is very organized and they're looking forward. It's nice to see them. They make motions the same as we do for the agendas and the approvals, as well as doing their strategic planning and stuff like that. So yeah, good committee. I did want to highlight that tonight we have the Business Support Network event going on. So you're encouraged to get tickets, but it's free. It's just online, but please come down and see us at Mitch's at 6 p.m.
And it's, ticket sales are now closed, and we are exceeding the capacity of the room. We have
Nice.
over 70 that have signed up for the Business Support Network event tonight.
Well, I still encourage more people to come. We will find room. So
Did you say it's online?
it was online to get tickets, yes.
Oh, wait, we're not streaming yet.
Yeah.
I don't
No, we're
think
not
so.
streaming it.
No, okay.
Yeah. And then, yes, same busy weekend coming up with the EPAC performance and the Loppets having their function and event. And yeah, see what the rest of the month brings. I did have one question. Do we still have a bunker? Every year I request a tour of the bunker and I get declined. Yeah, she's laughing. I put my request in again. Tom's like, no.
Through the chair to
Kelly's
Councillor
choking.
Wheeler. Through the chair to Councillor Wheeler, we can find somewhere to hide if you want.
No, it's because it's the old, right across the hill there, it was the water treatment tower or whatever, right? And so there is apparently a secret bunker underneath. Write that in the paper
That we don't know about.
with a hole. Still like to see it one day.
We'll add that to the tours. Okay.
That's it.
Perfect. Okay, thank you for your report. Next up is Deputy Finn.
Yeah, so everything's kind of been covered. Had a really good community safety meeting, joint council, emergency management training was fantastic. Last night, I attended the Health Foundation in Councillor Jeffrey's absence, so they had their meeting last night, and yeah, it was good. They found out about the renovations about the same time that we did, so, yeah. But yeah, no, it's been going well.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your report. So for myself, yeah, council had met with MP Dane Lloyd. It was nice. That was, I believe, our first meet and greet with the new council. So it was nice to just hear what he's driving up federally. And we talked about prosecution and the impact of crime in our community and what we can do to be creating a safer community and not in our backyard kind of concept there. So it was a lot of great conversation around the table. I had a meeting with both Opportunity Home and All Our Daughters, and with a provincial consultant, just looking at ways that they can retain their funding, expand the funding, and then model the same, I guess, funding and treatment center as Opportunity has now with the new one that's going to be opening of All Our Daughters. So lots of great things happening for treatment and addiction in our community. We also had a joint council meeting. It was the first for this new council to meet Brazeau County council members and had some great conversations around there, just talking about what we want to see moving forward and just some introductions. We did emergency management training with this council that was mandatory. So that was nice to have a refresher course on that and outline our roles and responsibilities. And a lot of the things that are happening are a work in progress, and we're still building on some of those things. So we're in a great place right now. And, you know, with wildfire season coming just around the corner, I'm confident that, well, maybe not confident is the right word I want to use, but I'm hopeful that with the amount of snow that we've had and the moisture and everything, that we'll be be able to rest a little easier coming into the spring and not have so much PTSD there. Had a meeting with Alberta Health Services in regards to the homeless community and the Mayor's Task Force, things like that, as well as I've had hospital and physician meetings about what's happening and how to best advocate together, what our community plans are with the hospital closures and, like we said, the ambulances and things like that, coming up with a strategy for our community. And that is it for me. It's been a little bit of rest over the holidays and now back at it full time. So thank you, everyone, for your reports. Is there a member of council that'd like to make a motion to accept as information? Deputy Finn, thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. Next up, we have 12.2, which is roundtable discussions. Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Just with respect to Krista Gardner with Alberta Communities Towns West, she proposed a couple of dates to come.
Oh, she did get back?
Yeah, I think it was 19th, 20th, 21st, maybe, something like that. There you go. So, thank you. So regardless, I guess my question is would we expect her to come to a GMP council or just for a general sit down?
Just a general sit down. coffee and,
Now, is there anything, I guess, specific that this council would want to, talk with her about? Is there anything that, that we don't feel maybe we're getting the legs that we need and we need more legs kind of thing, or?
do we want to bring up her absence from Towns West?
Might be worth it. Yeah. So anyway, some food for thought, and I guess we can discuss that more later, but,
Yeah, maybe
Just-
over lunch, we can pick a date, and then we
Yeah.
can decide what we want to. I know Ms. Wheelie had talked about some resolutions coming forward at Alberta Munis, right? How better can we support those get behind? I believe we also had a suggestion for a resolution, and I don't recall what it was, but Ms. Wheelie, what was that?
One of the resolution ideas was to advocate for the province to move the municipal year-end to the provincial year-end. So we weren't trying to do an interim budget without knowing what they were going to grant us out to start with, so.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was something I thought at our last council in GNP that we said to make another resolution. Does anyone recall? I have to go back on my notes.
I'll have to check my notes, ma'am.
Yeah, because there was something else, I thought we had two suggested, looking at timing for spring and in the fall as well as the potential of any councillors wanting to sit on any Alberta Munis boards and committees too. So that's something I know that there might be an interest we could talk about. So we could put together a little list and decide what that meeting looks like. Anything else, Councillor Clark? Any other roundtable? Councillor Brooks?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe, I don't know if it's a totally appropriate time to bring it up. There was a Facebook post by the town. I was told about it. I don't have Facebook, but it had to do with the gas leak by the highway there. And as it was described to me, the post said that it was an emergency gas leak, and it was like Friday or Saturday, or probably Saturday, but, and that it was going to be dealt with on Monday. And so the person that brought it up to me, was like, is it an emergency, or is it gonna get dealt with on Monday, right? So it just seemed like a little bit of mixed messaging. Like I said, I didn't see it myself, so I have no idea, but.
That would be information provided to us by the ATCO, so.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been our decisions on things, it's
Right.
just keeping the public informed.
Aha.
Ms. Terry?
Thanks for the question. It did not say emergency in our post from
Okay.
what we could see. We did identify that it was a gas leak. They had said they were going to be impacting our road. So I had said we'd notify the public, and they said, thank you. There was a lot. It's very complex. It requires them to open up all four corners of that intersection, bleed the line down, because it was a main that fed everything west of town, and it was within the highway right away. So there was multiple things that made the job quite complex. It wasn't just a shut it down and get her done. So
Right.
they were monitoring it. They were definitely in the area taking
Yeah,
care of it.
I had no concerns with it getting dealt with. Like, it was just, from the way they described it to me, I was like, oh, that's a little weird that it's both an emergency and gonna be dealt with within 2 days.
So it wasn't an
Oh.
emergency?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean, it's a gas leak, but they were doing everything they could to mitigate the situation.
perfect. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Wheeler.
More just a comment for the council reports. Have you guys previously been rotating through the list, or do you always do it alphabetical?
We used to rotate. Yeah, yeah.
I would
rotate.
prefer to rotate,
Yeah.
because I want to say ditto.
Just for explanation, we can rotate. We have never rotated the last two, which is always the deputy and then the mayor. So although
Yeah,
the
that's
deputy
fine.
person rotates, the mayor is always last, if that's acceptable.
For sure.
Okay. Perfect. I can just randomly call names too. Mix it up. Okay, so just trying to think. No, I think both of mine are closed, so I will wait for my roundtable discussion. So if there's no further roundtable, we do have a closed session. You do have the access to information section in front of you. Is there a member of council who would like to make a motion? Councillor Clark?
I will make the motion that council move into closed session at, what time are we here? 11:27 in accordance with the Access to Information Act, Section 31E and Section 19(1)I.
Perfect, thank you very much for that. I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried.